Okay. Emerging from the factory up here, far more north in the city than you feel like you traveled underground. Uh, you're not granted admittance to the factory, especially not now, but you're safely escorted outside.
Off the premises?
Off the premises, yes. The place where you're at in the city is bustling with activity right now because there was an earthquake that just hit the university, which remember is here at the core of the city. So you're on the other side of the river from it, and you're far enough away that there's no damage to the vicinity where you're currently standing around. However, lots of people are fleeing from that direction, and it sounds like things are getting really, really bad in and around the university grounds.
We parked down here, right?
I don't think we have any stuff left there.
Well, yeah, I think, but Dr. Van Richten told us that we were going to rendezvous outside of the city. I thought.
Yeah, he gave us a...
He did, yes. I forgot that, but yeah, he did.
That's out of the city and to the north, out into the wilds of Lemordia.
What was the timing around that?
Within the next day or two. Yeah, he was going to wait a couple of days.
I think we should probably make for that.
Yeah, I don't know that there's anything left we want to do around here. I don't know that we're going to... If we try to approach the university at this point, I think they would probably attack us.
Well, so the first thing you would have to do is push your way through a crush of people heading away from the university.
Yeah. I just don't think going back there is going to be an option.
Yeah, it becomes pretty clear pretty quickly that there's no sort of rescue mission underway. There's no sort of... It's kind of an every man for themselves situation. Nobody's going to step in and take control of it. It's just going to deteriorate and probably get worse as the night wears on.
Yeah,
unless you want to try and run the city, we should probably scooch towards the edge.
Yeah, I say we get out of the city, find a place to hunker down for the night, and then make for Van Richten's rendezvous point.
Okay.
So I had one other thing I wanted to do, and if either of the rogues want... So I think that's a good plan for tonight. We can do this tomorrow, but if either of the rogues want to help me with that.
What is it?
I want to sneak back into the library and try and steal any lore they might have about angels of air trapped on this plane.
Victor is absolutely a go for that.
The library at the university?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the most logical place to look for that. I did get confirmation from a divination that it was somewhere in the city.
Okay.
I think that's
another place that would...
idea, but I don't know that we're going to be able to get near it, and I definitely don't think we're going to be able to get near undetected.
Victor doesn't care. He's going to help you.
But I think it's worth the effort.
If you want, I can... How long does invisibility last? An hour?
Jeannie, if you... Oh, is Jeannie still catatonic the next... Should we just go to the next day, or
Well, she'll be afflicted with that obsession for probably a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Right, but again, if you poke Jeannie and ask her for assistance, or whatever, she'll just quietly do a thing and then go back to what she's doing.
Well, I think it's been explicitly stated that you can't rest.
Correct. Without the aid of...
right. Does anybody got a way for me to knock me unconscious for a night's sleep?
Fist?
I mean, it's the first night. I don't think I'd even realize that's necessary.
Right. Well, I do have... I'll be able to restore one of my spell slots in the morning, so... Yeah.
Okay.
Can we hold you down and suffocate you until you pass out?
No, please don't.
Sure, you're not helping.
Long rest.
That doesn't count as rest. That counts as being attacked.
But no, she's just gonna... I guess she's just gonna sit up all night staring at her corpse while everybody else sleeps.
So Ekon and Victor are going to try... So the best time to do that, sooner would likely be better than later, because things are in a state of chaos right now. And you know that, peacekeeping forces or anything aren't going to step in and take control of the situation, but eventually someone will.
Right.
It's at least on the university grounds.
Edmont's willing to assist in that endeavor as well.
Evie is all for looting anything useful from this place that we can get our hands on.
So, what warm bodies are going back onto the university grounds to locate this library?
Ekon, obviously.
Victor.
Edmont.
I think Evie will stay with Jeannie.
Okay. And are Evie and Jeannie going to assist them with magic or anything before sending the three of them in?
I don't have anything until dawn that I can do. I don't know.
We're
when
going
I'm
after. I need to get my spells back.
If I have an hour, I can get spells back, but I don't think I have anything that would help them with this.
So, if you want to wait, take a long rest before doing this. But if you do, the chaos of the situation will no longer be to your advantage.
Give me a second then, because
If you tell me where it is, I can go look for it for you.
I don't know where it is.
He has to go on the
And
ground.
you don't read the language, so. Evie, can
Yeah.
you disguise the two of us to look like other people?
Yeah.
All right, and do we have a set of clothing or something I can wear so it's not immediately obvious who I am?
Probably.
There's
I
all
think-
kinds of clothing, and I've got like 5 sets of like
Okay.
traveling clothes in my. Because remember, Evie keeps.
I think Victor is a little bit less distinct than Ekon in terms of clothing.
Well,
he
Victor
also-
and Edmont, they've been seen there before.
Oh yeah, that's so. If you disguise us
Mhm.
and like, they don't wear golden trim armor emblazoned with the holy symbols of air, is what I'm saying.
Victor,
no,
Victor was
yeah.
just a random worker last time.
Okay.
I am really tempted to disguise myself as Victor Mordenheim, but I think that would go very badly.
Who has her crossbow, by the way? When have you picked it up?
I still have it.
You have it. Okay.
I have no idea what it is, and the only person who I think would identify is Jeannie, and I'm absolutely not showing it to her.
So, are we going to go in tonight, or are you going to take a long rest
Yeah.
first to get spell
I think a
slots?
short rest and then head in. That sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah.
Go ahead and take the
Yeah.
benefits of a short rest. Ekon, on a
Definitely
scale of
dispensing.
1 to 10,
Mm-hmm.
how much risk are you willing to accept for this dangerous mission?
8.
An 8. So you and Edmont and Victor are going in with the benefit of Evie having disguised you.
Yep.
Okay.
I have some spells I'm also going to cast. I am going to cast Borrowed Knowledge on myself to give myself proficiency in stealth,
Okay.
and I am going to cast Enhanced Ability Dexterity on myself.
All right.
If you, I don't know if it matters, but like you could borrow Jeannie's armor. I don't know if that would be acceptable.
I'm not worried about it.
The size difference between the two of them.
Yeah, I'm not gonna worry. You're a little short.
So the three of you go ahead and individually go ahead and give me a hide check. Getting onto university grounds.
Can I give everyone? Can I give my friend, my family members pass without trace?
You sure can if you've still got it in the chamber.
I got as long as I got key points, I got it.
How many of those do you have left?
10 now
All
for the
right.
short rest.
Victor's also going to do comprehend languages before we go in.
Yeah, so 10 point. So plus 10 to your stealth rolls, spellers.
Jesus. 14, 15, 16, 27.
27.
27. Edmont gets a 4.
No, significantly more than a 4.
So you guys have no difficulty slipping into the crowd. Fighting has broken out in many of the courtyard areas of the university. Two of the main wings of the university were heavily damaged by the earthquake, and a violent protest has broken out on the grounds as this recent expenditure of flesh rights and the acquisition thereof has boiled to a head. A lot of these students are taking to the courtyards literally with torches and pitchforks in some cases. So fires are spouting here and there. You see where people in the university who are in positions of power have been dragged down from their high offices in ivory towers to face the judgment of these angry students at this point.
Justice.
Ekon, how are you trying to locate this book? Are you just going to make your way toward the library, or do you have magical assistance?
See if there's anything I would cast that. I don't have anything aside from my own knowledge of religion to help me on that.
Okay. Give me an investigation check at disadvantage because so much chaos going on.
Can any of us help him?
I'm going to say no on this.
That's a 6.
A 6. You make your way towards the main library. In a wing typically used for history, mostly, which is one of the less attractive wings to the student body here. History being seen as a very unworthy subject of study alongside any of the material sciences. As you approach the library, students are coming out with armfuls of books and dumping them 10 at a time onto a huge fire that is raging in front of the main library doors. One of the students is standing up on a large platform outside the library, loudly proclaiming and protesting, and she is urging her classmates to throw down the administration of the university, to seize back the Fletch rights that they've stole for the false education that they've received. Getting into the library will not be difficult, but any system in place to try to find a particular book looks like it's going to be in ruins at this point.
Is there a card catalog or anything?
Not one that's usable. Your best bet at this point, if you don't want to go in and just grab random books and hope for the best, would be to try to ask some people about this particular book and where it can be found. But that itself carries its own risks and dangers because everybody's in a fighting mood right now.
So I have one idea. I have 2 ideas. One idea. Let me see here. God, I don't have enough money to bribe people. Do I have any money on them?
I mean, Victor does, but Victor's just going to try asking for some stuff.
I've got 20 gold on me right now.
The other thing we can try and do is if we split up and just look for any books that have Aetherine, that are written in Aetherine. Like that's my best idea. Other than, bribe someone to find out. I mean, I'd happily bribe someone to find out. I just don't have a lot of money on me. If 3 gold pieces, I think would be enough.
I mean, Victor will give you 3 gold pieces, but he also wants to ask one of the students where the section on religion.
Well, I was hoping for 10. I figured 10's a pretty good bribe for a starving student.
You're,
a lot of that flesh rights.
You're paying me back later.
Yeah.
I'll give you 10.
Victor's keeping accounts. So you're going to flag down a student.
Take 10 gold.
You're saying, look, I'm looking for the subject of this particular book, and I'm just trying to get it out of here safely.
So and I'll spread the bribes around a little bit until I find someone who might, I'll offer them 1 gold to listen to my question, and but then if I find someone that I think actually might know, using insight, I'll give them more money.
Make a persuasion check at advantage.
Okay.
Victor, what are you doing? You're just trying to use your natural charisma to ask around?
No, so what he's going to do separate from Ekon is he's going to ask one of the students, where can I find the religious section? We've been lied to. We need to burn it all and stop other people from having these lies. So he's going to basically use the same tone that they have about burn it all down.
Then you are directed to the crowd of students who had that idea an hour ago and are already underway.
That's a 17 on persuasion.
Okay. Ekon. You spread some gold around. You put some gold into the hand of a student who insists that they were here majoring in religious studies, which isn't a big forte of this university. You'll recall that there are no churches or cathedrals in the city that are active places of worship. This would be, from his point of view, historical curiosity, if anything. However, he claims to know of exactly the sort of book you're seeking, of angels and religious proxies of gods being lashed down by the sciences of Lamortia, people binding them to their will here.
All right. Yeah. I'll give him some more gold. Like once I get the hook on someone who I think actually knows. Do I insight? What can I make an insight check to think if this guy's lying to me? Actively.
It's a pure gamble.
Okay.
The idea is you'll be paying him 10 gold. He tells you that he will meet you in 3 hours at the Syndicate House to hand over the book. But at this moment in time, you're going to be handing him gold and watching him disappear back into the crowd.
That works for me.
Okay.
Syndicate House, okay.
2 of you had gone there, I thought.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're familiar with the place.
Yeah.
That's on the other side of the
that?
river from the university.
Yeah.
And let's get 3 more hide checks. If you're sneaking back.
How long does Pass Without Trace last?
Pass Without Trace lasts 1 hour, so I could re-up it if it need be, and I probably would imagine with all of us, with all the working, hunting around.
Re-upping it probably be a good idea. You've probably spent a good
Yeah.
hour working your way around.
Okay.
That's
yeah.
19.
26.
Edmont, how'd you do?
Well, plus 18 to this roll. Oh, I matched my 18 with an 18. 30,
All right.
36.
That's the biggest number there is.
He just
Yes.
vanishes, and he looks to his side, and Red is standing there from Flumph of the Wild. Hi, how you doing?
He's been here the whole time. Several hours pass. Getting on into the dead of night now. The Syndicate House isn't actually open at night. The time that you were told the man would meet you comes and goes. How much longer past that point do you wait for him?
I'd say give it another 2 hours. Does that sound good to you two?
Yeah.
Okay. 45 minutes late. Almost an hour late. The shape of the man comes up the road. Are you still wearing your disguises? Otherwise, he's not going to be able to recognize you. Okay.
Yeah.
Hurries over. Pulls the tome out from beneath his jacket. Hands it to you. So I believe this is everything you're looking for.
I am going to see if there's any innate magic on the book.
Very faintly. A very faint aura of probably just enchantment upon
Okay.
it.
And
Not-
I'll hand it to Vic. No.
Not so much that you think the book itself is magical or contains spells,
Mhm.
but it contains knowledge of a particular magical nature.
I'll hand it to Victor. Victor, check this for magical traps, but don't open it.
Yeah, Victor will do what he can.
And I say that in Aetherine.
Well, as soon as he hands over the book, his business is done with you, and he shuffles back off into the night.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Victor will check what he can with his Arcana skill.
It's a very old book, and it's badly falling apart in places. Like, if you were to open it, there are many loose pages just kind of shoved in. As far as traps go, doesn't look like anything bad is going to happen. You don't see any overt runes or anything attached to it that could explode upon opening. You do see a badly tarnished lock on one side of the book that has been long ago broken off, and only part of the hinge remains.
Let's get back to camp, and I'll take a look at this once we're settled down.
I feel like we should make another trip to the library and see if there's anything worthwhile we can take with us.
You should
Yeah,
have
I
grabbed
never
it
really
last
can.
time we were there.
I didn't have a chance to talk.
Air's miracles are spent. We're going back.
Yeah, we shouldn't push our luck.
Heading up to the rendezvous point.
Thank you, Victor. I know that leaving knowledge behind goes against your nature. It feels like I'm apologizing to you all entirely all the time today.
He wants to carry the whole library out on his back. Like, did
He's
it hurt
damn right I
Victor
do.
on the inside to see students burning those books?
Yes, it did.
Most of them
Ekon
are
was a
just
very
about
valuable-
mad science anyway, so.
Well, those are exactly the books that Jeannie needs, though.
You don't think Jeannie's had her fill of mad science?
No, I think she's obsessed with it. Needs to know more.
Okay. Guys, I'm going to stop here for 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Jeannie has opinions about Lamortia. They are not positive opinions. Like this place offended her on a level she didn't know that she could be offended on. Like
Is that before or after you found yourself floating in a tube?
before.
So it's gotten worse since then, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Like Jeannie's like I said, Jeannie is she has a different manifestation of it, but she is a member of the Veritas family.
Sorry about that. My wife came home early, and I have been notified that we are having rigatoni for dinner.
Rigatoni.
Like Chef Boyardee.
All right. I severely doubt it. If I was eating Chef Boyardee for dinner, I wouldn't have announced it.
Yeah.
Ekon.
Yeah.
Thumbing through this book. It's ancient, and it's written in 100 different languages. But to your amazement, you find half of a torn away page towards the back of the book, written in Old Etherine.
Cool.
What information can I piece together from that half a page?
Bear with me just 1 second.
Yep.
Don't do it, Ekon. This is how he got Jeannie.
Unfortunately, the information is incomplete.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're able to glean is that at some point in Lamortia's history, and again, like I said, this book has to be 100 or more years old, tells of a creature described only by name, Bedros. And you think it describes how this particular creature was snared in a trap by none other than Dr. Victor Mordenheim herself.
Old as Victra. Jeez.
I mean, when you saw her, she didn't look old at all. She looked like maybe in her 30s, perhaps. Not even middle, not quite middle-aged. But what's startling about it is that it's written in a form of Aetherine that you would recognize as being very, very old. It would be similar to reading or understanding Latin.
Right.
The name Bedros doesn't ring any bells, as far as you know.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably been trapped here a very long time.
Okay, everybody can take the benefits of a long rest if you're camping out here in the wilderness, except for Jeannie, who is obsessed. So this is Jeannie's first night where you realize you're just not able to find sleep.
Right.
Well, I think during the long rest, Evie's going to bring up a topic of conversation to everyone, and she's going to ask everyone: do any of you think it's even remotely possible that Aslan Rex is afraid of us?
I think Aslan Rex is afraid of a lot of things. It's included.
It's possible.
Doesn't ring true to me. He doesn't seem like he cares about much of anything.
He's an ancient being. He's probably afraid of losing power. Or afraid that we know something he doesn't.
Could be paranoid, or could think that he's just above us. I probably give even odds in either one.
I'm not sure I believe that. Victor Mordenheim said that Aslan Rex agreed to turn us over to her, but that doesn't sound right. We already know what he was planning to do with us.
What do you think got in exchange?
Entertainment.
I think he got exactly what he wanted out of that exchange. I think he wanted us to kill Victor Mordenheim. She's a potential rival to him. He hates her technology and her weaponry. He doesn't want it in Darkon. I think he tricked her into taking us into her custody, and he knew that we would kill her. And that's why he gave her Jeannie. He's been playing us since before we met him.
I agree that he's been playing us, but I think that's a bit of a reach.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
And Evie recalls at this moment the card that the Vistana revealed to her, the marionette, and she, at this point, believes that Aslan Rex has been that many steps ahead of her since the beginning.
So you think that he is the betrayer that...
Well, this is a different card. This was the card of Evie's heart. It was the marionette.
All I know is that Strahd openly played us. I wouldn't be surprised if Aslan Rex did the same, but I'm sure he got something worthwhile out of Mordenheim in the process.
I'm not sure there's anything that she could give him that he wants.
Oh, I wouldn't be so sure about that.
research notes based on what she's found from our lot.
Jeannie, Jeannie's sitting in the corner and she's nodding kind
Evie,
of up and down, and then she kind of looks and she says, well, he does have that machine. He would need somebody to look at it and maintain it.
aside from that, remember a couple months ago when I asked if you wanted to know a dangerous secret and you said no?
What was that? I don't think
Yeah.
I remember this conversation.
Yeah, Victor offered to share what he learned about Aslan from the Vistani. Somebody said yes, but I forget who it was.
No, I don't know that Evie knows that information yet.
No, she
Mont
doesn't.
knows it.
I think
I do
Edmont
know that
wanted it.
doesn't.
Do you want to know a secret, Evie?
Right now, yes.
All right, you think it's time? You know how? Well, you don't know this, but when a man gets older, parts of him stop to work as well as they used to. This can be very, very devastating for the male ego. In Aslan's case, it's his ability to learn magic.
But he's the most powerful wizard we've ever seen.
And he's at his limit since coming here. The only way he can learn new spells is to take them from people that he brings to his realm. Mordenheim and Lamortia appears to have a lot of information that he may not be aware of. That electricity that we saw, you noticed how it was here too? He may very well have learned it from this realm.
So he might want it for himself, but keep it from his people.
He wants everything for himself. He's an ancient being. He's selfish, according to Van Richten. These are things that don't think as we do. So no, I think the trade with Mordenheim was very much in his best interest, and I think us killing Mordenheim, I'm not sure if he'll be upset, but I do think he may view it as a loss.
I'm just wondering what's going to happen if we show back up in Darkon and we're still alive when he was expecting us to die. Which is why I think it's possible that he wasn't expecting us to die at all.
He'll continue to use us as he wants as new opportunities come along. The question we should ask ourselves is what is in Lamortia that we can use against him later?
Ekon, Edmont, and or Jeannie. Any of you, or all of you individually, make an insight check. Listening to the two sides of this conversation.
That's 14.
Take a +5 on that, and I'm going to forego rolling.
Thank you. It's 19.
Can Edmont beat the 19?
No, it's a 15 from me.
Ekon, you're listening to this conversation. This revelation that Aslan is unable to learn new magic. And what he may or may not have expected to happen to you going into Lamortia. Thinking about it, since you guys arrived, even before you formally met Aslan and were given charge of your little village and spent that time securing it, you've basically done nothing but unearth old magic secrets and magic items and play with magic traps. You've been doing nothing but digging up and becoming accustomed to old forms of magic since you arrived.
Seems like Darkon is basically made of old magic.
It strikes you as very possible that this was Aslan's design for you. He can't get new magic, but you can.
By doing so, like Edmont has had this feeling, like in the back of his head ever since for a while now, but he feels like that if Aslan wants to destroy us, that for our magical power, then what he's doing is he's basically letting us fatten ourselves up like cattle to be slaughtered.
Then why
We're-
send us here? Why
We're
agree?
more useful as beavers building the dam for the waterfall and the torrential flood he eventually wants to make than as a snack, as a beaver souffle.
I'm sure he has spies in our city learning what we know,
Well, then why would he agree to send us here?
so that we bring back new knowledge.
Ekon holds up the ancient tome he is poring over. He doesn't even say anything, he just gives you this look.
In the same way that Strahd can't go to Darkon, I doubt Aslan can come to Lordia.
I'm starting to think Mordenheim couldn't move between realms either.
Quite possible. But the fact remains, there's knowledge here that Aslan does not know. And it's a question of how much effort do we want to invest to learn it, to potentially use against him, with the danger of having it fall into his hands. On a scale of 1 to 10.
So do we reach any conclusion as far as the Veritas outlook on Aslan Rex tonight?
What do you mean? Like, are we planning on killing him? Like what?
I wasn't going to phrase it exactly like that, but that is one possible conclusion that could be reached.
Aslan Rex agreed to turn my sister over to that monster.
And Van Richten said, when you go to kill a witch, don't. So...
Victor, I say this honestly. When's the last time we ever listened to good advice?
He
Listen,
does have a point.
every time I do something, you berate me and tell me I do the wrong thing. And now you want to do it my way?
I've been telling you you've been doing the right thing all week, or all day.
Thank you. Finally, someone understands. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for trying to kill Aslan, but we're gonna need a significant advantage. Maybe it's in this realm, maybe it's not.
This
It's
realm
gonna
being
require-
Lamortia?
Yeah.
I don't
It's
think
gonna
we're
require
get anything
more
out of
effort.
here.
Yeah, well, it's gonna require more effort than sitting in our town to do it. Jeannie, what do you think? Do we kill a witch?
He doesn't say anything. He does look at you though, and then turn back to look at the corpse.
I'll take that as a yes.
We'll discuss this later.
I
For
think
now,
we
we have to worry about rendezvousing with Dr. Van Richten, getting the hell out of here.
I would suggest you be careful with how much we tell Van Richten.
Van Richten doesn't arrive until partway through the next day, late the following morning. So Jeannie is able to take a long rest if somebody is able to subject her to magical sleep or use a restoration spell to suppress the obsession long enough to allow her to sleep. Otherwise, go ahead.
Does lesser restoration do that, or do I need greater restoration?
For this purpose, I would allow lesser restoration to work.
I can cover that.
Okay.
So I'll just cast a lesser restoration on her every night before she needs to go to sleep. I have a couple of spells I want to cast
Okay.
before. Guys, this might be dangerous, so if you could watch over my back. First of all, I am casting Protection from Evil on myself.
Yep.
Next, I'm going to reach into the bag of holding and say, basin of perfect vision of realities, and pull it out.
Okay.
If I could please borrow your decanter, Victor?
Hey, go for it.
I will fill the basin with the decanter, and then I will cast Scrying, naming Belladross. There's a minus. They have a +5 on their wisdom save because I only have secondhand information about them.
Okay.
And you guys keep an eye on me and make sure if anything goes wacky, do something.
Yeah.
I don't know how any of this works, but I promise I'll do something.
Running around and screaming is something.
5th level.
Evie's good at that.
Magic.
I forget who Belladross
As
is.
long as it's on the same plane of existence.
Eldros is someone who we just learned about.
Servant of Air.
Was a name in
Oh,
the
yeah.
air paperwork, but
Yeah, that guy.
Well, potentially a Servant of Air.
So scrying lets you see and hear a creature, but not communicate with it necessarily. Is that correct?
Yeah, it creates a sensor I can see and hear through.
Okay.
And if that sensor follows them around.
Well, this particular sensor that you create isn't following anybody anywhere. It's created into a doorless and windowless and utterly lightless chamber. Belladross, as far as you can tell, I mean, the spell wouldn't work if it wasn't alive. Chained by the ankles, upside down, in a dungeon cell with no doors. And you don't get any information on where that cell is.
Aside from knowing it's on this plane.
I'll say then, most likely, because you'd be familiar with the intricacies of the spell, and you know something about the nature of the plane you're traveling through, how the workings of the mists, you're fairly confident this cell must be in Lamortia somewhere.
Right.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to reach it.
I am curious, what is the perfect form of this cell? Does he have like little tea cakes and stuff? Like what is going on with
Can you see who he is? Like what he is? Is he a man?
It
an
doesn't
angel?
project light into the room, does it?
No, but maybe my brother can cast dark vision on me because I can use enhanced magical senses through the sensor.
Okay.
It's like as if he's there.
If you ask for it, then absolutely, that's 2 key points.
Unless I'll try reaching into the bag. Goggles of dark vision?
No, they're not.
Yeah,
not
I know. But Ekon wasn't sure.
So Edmont will use dark vision?
Yeah.
A human man, as far as you can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Dressed in rags and very weakly, barely conscious. However, just being in the thing's presence, you can feel the presence of air here. This is a celestial creature in service to your god. You recognize that, like, miraculous signature upon it. As far as it being the most perfect or ideal, like, it's an oubliette with no entrances, no light, no nothing. And you have no idea how long the thing has been trapped in there.
Can you use a summoning ritual to pull him out of there and bring him to you?
Out of character, I can do that in 2 more levels. I would need a scroll.
I don't know how to help this creature if we can't find where he is.
I could try. Tomorrow I can try one of my summoning spells, but it's only a temporary summoning. It's not... there's a more powerful spell I can't cast that Air hasn't granted me yet.
I mean, even if we know he's probably at or around the university, that's a lot of ground to cover.
Oh,
Yeah.
question, like...
And you said it's doorless and windowless, so that must mean that
Doorless, windowless, yes.
I mean, we have magic
it
that
must
could...
be under a similar sort of setup as the Glares of Genie.
What's Genie's
Thank
question?
you. Jeannie is asking, like, just in a very monotone voice, she says, well, if you temporarily summon him, does anything he's holding go back with him, or does it fall to the ground? What is the metaphysics of the magic?
I mean, I don't know in 5e. obviously.
This is definitely
You're
a
gonna
you would
do
have to try it territory.
She said,
Oh.
Jeannie says, well, we give him an object. We summon
So
him.
I guess my other question then, Brick, is do I think if I cast Summon Celestial and name a specific Celestial, it would work?
Let me give that spell a quick look.
Yep.
Oh, this is one that's not in the PHB, is it?
Yeah, it's in
Cautious.
Cautious.
Okay. Will you excuse me for a moment? As I crawl back into the tunnel!
I don't think it does summon a specific one, according to the wording.
You could probably, if you knew what name, you might be able to.
I might not have the component anyway.
This sounds like stuff that would be in the Onomancer Unearthed Arcana they published. Magic that can be
Yeah.
marked with true names.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Basically, I'd like to be able to cast a spell and not have the danger of grabbing a random Celestial from Error's Paradise.
The hell is a reliquary?
I'd like it to, either work on a specific creature already on here or fail, as
I
opposed to.
believe a reliquary is something that is meant to house a holy relic, which is, I think, a body part of a holy man who's long dead.
Yeah.
I think that's officially what a reliquary is.
Yeah, I also gonna need to get the component for this. It's on my list of stuff.
Like, I don't know. Like, it's just one of those things where, like, what?
So the Summon
Minor-
Celestial spell will specifically summon that stat block as a Celestial.
Okay.
So no, you wouldn't be able to use that to summon a named creature. That's not to say that it couldn't be helpful under any circumstances, but
Well, I do know that, like, he asked you. I remember when you asked, and you were like, yeah, if you use that spell, whatever you summon is just trapped in Ravenloft now.
that is most likely true, yes. Because it's
It's just crap. Like, how just irresponsible is it to design a spell that just grabs a random celestial demon or whatever and just pulls it from whatever it's doing?
It's
Yeah,
definitely
right?
dangerous.
that's all conjuration magic.
I know, but like, just how.
Why do you think summoners always go through all these rituals to like have a circle and make sure that the creature is bound when you bring it? Because it's probably going to be very pissed off.
Didn't you guys encounter
remember
a
last campaign when
Demarax?
Lucius summoned a devil to basically shove in a box and
When you cast a summoning spell, it actually manifests a little summoning crystal that zips out to the outer planes and finds the creature you're looking for. And I think in Flunkscape you encountered a Demarax, which is like this stupid
We
dinosaur creature that eats those spell crystals.
I remember that. It's so delightful.
So yeah, and in Planescape there are people who can actually like capture those spell crystals out of the air like they're Amazon drones, and then like inflict them on people as an attack.
That's funny.
So a wizard will cast a summon spell, and the spell failed, whatever. And 3 months later, the thing he didn't try to summon shows up there. Summoning magic's weird. Late in the next morning, Van Richten arrives at the rendezvous point. He's not particularly pleased with how things that went down, but he's also not... Doesn't look like he's too terribly torn up that he had to cause an earthquake in the middle of the university town of Ludendorff. And it's up to you how surprised you are to learn that he was willing to do that in order to try to make your escape. Knowing that almost certainly more people died in the earthquake and its various aftermaths than had he just let Mordenheim drop you all in the vats of slime.
I mean,
I think Ludendorff will be better off without the university for a while.
I mean, he wasn't. In Ekon's mind, it's a question of responsibility. He brought us here. He was responsible for getting us out, and while everything else is unfortunate, that's how Ekon rationalizes it.
Do you voice that, or are you just thinking about it?
Yeah, I think if it comes out of discussion, I don't think I'll bring it up.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Then yeah, that's how Van Richten looks at it as well. He expects that the university will come under new management and that things may improve in terms of the student body for a time, but the ebb and flow of administration through the university, it always ends up the way you found it.
With Professor. Wait a minute.
He means in terms of the administration exploiting the students using flesh rights.
Oh, I thought you were saying it's like, oh, Professor Mannheim was gonna somehow spring back up, walk around, and say, "Hey, I'm in charge again."
Oh, I'm sure she will. That's why Victor wanted to burn her body.
As to that, I mean, he saw Mordenheim's corpse when you guys were carrying it. He's the one who said it was probably smarter to leave it behind. But as to that, he has heard of her dying in at least 2 other, once in a university accident and once in a peasant uprising that tore through the city. And he finds both of those sources to have been credible.
Victor just glares at Ekon.
We have an extra genie right here.
We have another. We have another. Another piece of evidence to.
I say that specifically quietly so Genie can't hear me. So you're gonna have to make a listen check.
Well,
Also,
I'm responding to Van Richten. I'm saying we have another bit of evidence to contribute to that, because we have this historical tome that one is written in a language that only we should know because it's only from our world, from our home.
Well, it's written in 100 different languages. The one part that Ekon studied was a torn page written in Old Aetherine.
Yeah. This was found in the library here in Lamortia, and it shows that, and it's older than common sense, and it's still says that Dr. Mannheim, imprisoned this creature.
Mordenheim.
Yeah.
But it is a question, McKen. It is a tome that radiates magic, right? So it is a magic item.
It very faintly radiates magic, yes.
Genie is going to gesture to the book and a gimme motion. She's not saying anything.
I mean, I can legend lore it, but
Oh yeah. Well, would legend lore work better than identify?
Identify would
materials
explain
for
its
it.
magical properties as far as using it as a magic item. Legend lore would tell about its background, who created it, and why.
Oh, legend lore is a better idea then. Yeah.
Legend lore is expensive, though.
yeah,
you
we
have
can
the
do that when we
materials
get home.
to test it. Okay. Speaking of getting home, considering that the town is now
I'm
in
fine.
a bit of a shit show.
Seems like they're having one of those peasant revolutions right now.
Van
How do
Richten
we,
has made arrangements to travel north up the river. You'll meet a Vistana with a pole boat who can take you further into the mists. And it should bring you out on a river a week or so travel from Silverbow.
Are we sure we want to leave yet?
There's something you want to do here?
That whole conversation last night, did you forget about that when you went to sleep?
I think it might be wise to not have that conversation in our home realm ever. If we ever
Yeah.
want to speak of that, we should go to a different realm.
Uh-huh.
So, but we know how to get to back and forth to Lamortia, right? So we can, at our own leisure, get here.
Well,
Hire a
Yes
ship.
and no.
No.
It's
Yeah, we
easy
have to
through
hire
Van
the
Richten
Vistana.
because he has a lengthy rapport with certain members of the Vistani. You guys don't have those kind of contacts. You guys know one Vistani woman who you were in good contact with, but she no longer lives in the village.
Once we leave, it's possible we never come back here.
I think it's
Highly
likely
likely.
we never come back here.
Almost certain we'll never.
Oh,
go
I
back
don't
here
know
again.
about that. I
Van
think there's
Richten,
one thing to come back here for later.
Van Richten asked Jeannie on the subject of coming back here whether she learned what she set out to discover coming to the university.
And she just, in a very quiet and small voice, she says, I don't know. Genie doesn't know at the moment.
Oh, did that other genie have all her toes? I guess I can check.
Yeah, she must have, because you took off her toe after that.
That's a very sensitive question. Thank you.
Can you graft it to the genie we currently have?
Wouldn't even have to be the same toe. You could get creative with it.
Okay, now you're talking like Mordenheim.
Yeah,
No, that would be like, does genie want a third arm?
He said Jeannie tells tells Van Richten that she's got some thinking to do, and she's not real sure where, like, what they like, if they're answers or more questions.
He tells you that answering questions never leads to more answers than questions. This has been his experience. The more answers you seek, the more questions you'll find.
And that's part of what our family, what our family does.
So are we sneaking back into the city for anything, or are we heading up the river and returning back home?
I mean, that's up to them.
If we have a plan to spring that celestial being, I'm for it, but we don't know how to do that.
Yeah,
We could
that's- I think it's out of our
blanket
power
the
right
city
now.
with locate creatures.
That seems like it would take days.
mean,
Now's the time to do it. Everything is like
Yeah.
in a switch over.
I mean, again, that would just give us an idea what to do when we come back. That's not a solution to freeing it or getting it out of here. Let me just look at locate creature.
Well, actually, I don't even think that would work because he's in in a completely sealed oubliette. Like the
Work if
locate
they're not.
creature.
If it's not lead lined, but it's probably deep enough underground that it is.
We
Yeah.
don't know that.
Victor wants to put forth some effort to try and find out not only where the celestial creature is, but also anything else that might be useful to figure out.
Also, the oubliette could theoretically not be that secure, because remember you viewed it through the perfect looking glass, like, so that would be the perfect gel cell, which would be an entirely sealed box. So he could just be hanging in a closet.
So it's a 1,000-foot radius, and I get an hour per cast. It's a 4th level spell, so if I wanted, I could do. Like flying a little bit above the city if Genie makes me invisible. I could probably cover like in a day 30 feet per round, 60 feet per round. I could cover about 3 square miles in a day if I did nothing else over the course of 4 hours.
All right, is there a scale on this map?
There is, up here by the crest. I'm assuming this is in meters, so now you're going to have to do all your math again.
Oh God!
About two and a half kilometers to a mile, roughly. Or no, 1.6 kilometers to a mile.
You can attempt to scour the city with locate creature over the course of a day. And
If Van Richten's willing to wait,
oh, he's not going to accompany you anyway. He's going
He's
to
arranged for travel. He's not coming with us.
okay.
Yeah, he's
So
made
give me
arrangements
one
for you.
But the Vistana will wait for us?
He couldn't swear to that.
So that's every minute I move 60 times 10.
I would
Every hour.
start near the university. I suspect you're probably not going to have to... It's not going to be in, like... He's not going to be in the docks, probably.
Yeah, I mean, the city's only like a square mile, roughly.
I can cover 8,485 square feet.
In how long?
4 hours.
Okay, so, and then assuming he's underground, we're going to need
So
maybe a lot of stone shape.
2,828. I just want to know where for a return trip. I don't expect we have the resources to do this yet. So that's 2,828 square meters. Square root that.
This is
It's
too
about-
much math. Too much math is happening.
About I can cover roughly the whole city.
You're
So,
allowing this to happen.
Returning back to the city, this whole enterprise is going to take probably a little more than a day. Traveling back to the city, casting the spells, flying back and forth over the things.
I'm not flying over the city visible.
So
Yeah,
you
I
spend,
can.
you spend the extra day, And you do confirm that the creature, as far as the spell is concerned, is not in Ludendorff.
Okay. Okay, I have more powerful divinations. We'll save it for when we have a better plan.
All right. I don't know that we're ever going to be able to come back here, though.
I mean, we could just hire. We could reach out to. You know what?
The
Genie doesn't
myths
say
are
anything.
impassable. They're difficult, but they're not impassable.
So, question. In the time that we've been here, have we ever heard any mention of Aslan?
Only Mordenheim.
Even in Darkon, people don't think he exists.
It'd be interesting to see what rumors exist about Aslan here, though.
The Vistana waiting at the river for you is angry at your arrival. He was told you were going to be here yesterday. Nonetheless, he's received payment already, and he brings you aboard his skiff that he pulls down along the river. Not dissimilar to, like, the pleasure gondolas that used to sail circles around the lake in Brennanine a lifetime ago.
Like Abernathy's?
Abernathy's was
The
the
giant
best
nose?
of them.
No, like the one with the dragon on it.
And
Is
it
that a
wasn't dragon.
merman? I thought.
It was a
No, I meant the barge, the gambling barge.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. No, Abernathy's had prominent nipples on it, I do recall that.
That's buried in Darkon somewhere. We can go find it.
It's out by the river in the salt marshes. We probably know exactly where it is.
You pull into the mists and out again. No matter how many times you travel through the mists, you never quite acclimate to it. Like, some part of your psyche knows that it's impossible to know for sure what will be on the other side when you emerge. But the place where you emerge is known, particularly to Victor, who has done considerable scouting and cartography in the region around your village. The river entering the mists was vast, wide, flowing to the north. Flowing to the south towards the ocean. Wide enough that you can have one bank in sight and not see the other one on the mist on the other. But when you emerge, you're in a much narrower stream. And now you're flowing with the current rather than against. Small unnamed dock that the Vistana takes you to. Tips his wide-brimmed hat to you. You realize you're only a few days' journey away from Silverbow. Victor, you know how to get home from here.
So, question.
Mm-hmm.
Genie is not going to raise this, but the player is. Are we marching back into town with my own dead body in visible view?
We can cover it.
You could get the body into any place in the manor without being detected by the village, as far as you know. Like, you could arrange to come in the back way through cover of darkness. You can send sendings or messages ahead to arrange for somebody in town. Like, there's a million ways to get the body in without being seen. I'm not going to sweat that too much.
Okay, I just want to know, because you keep, like, every time we do something, bad rumors happen, and I just wanted to make sure.
Now, I did not say bad rumors wouldn't happen.
It's your new reputation, body smuggler.
No, I have an idea for the next reputation.
And a lot of you arrive back in Silverbow. What do you do with the body?
So,
That is
Genie corners Ekon,
Mm-hmm.
probably like alone, and she asks him, and she just demands that he ask Air if she can be put back in her body.
Okay. I can do a commute. That's not a problem.
Like, she's
Okay.
gripping a hold of you
Yeah.
violently.
Where's this taking place? When you get back to the village or out in the wilderness somewhere?
No, this is like in a closed room. Genie has held it in until she could do this privately. She doesn't want anybody else except Ekon, because she has to involve him.
Mm-hmm.
Good
All right. I'm just gonna cast commune right then and there. This is as good as place of any.
Okay.
Oh Lord Air, is it possible to place Genie's soul back into her original body?
And air is utterly silent on the point.
Oh Lord Air, do we have among us the capability to free Bedros from his prison in Lamortia?
He's silent on that point as well.
Oh Lord Air. I don't have a third question.
Are you there?
Did you die?
Stepped out for some nachos.
It's like, is this oh Lord Air? Is this thing on?
I think
The
Thor
answer
went
to
out
the
for
question,
cigarettes.
no.
The spell explodes in a logical paradigm.
I don't have a third question. Assume I asked something about like a religion thing or something.
You get an answer to your unimportant random religion question.
I ask if there's a suitable like reliquary for spell focus for my one spell I don't have a focus for yet in this realm.
Wait, what spell?
Summon Celestial, which I can never cast anyway, so.
Oh. Does that require a specific kind of focus?
It's 500 gold, so yep.
Oh.
500 gold reliquary.
Yeah, you're directed in the proper way to make such a focus.
Okay.
But on the subject of returning Genie to the corpse, utterly silent.
I'm sorry, Genie, there are some things even Air doesn't know.
Genie deflates, lets go, and then she turns around and leaves without saying a word.
The general feeling in the village after your return is fairly positive. Deep into spring now. Actually, no, summer had started, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Or
It
was
was
just about to.
Toward the end.
Van Richten arrived
Yeah.
right at the end of spring.
How many new people are in the village?
The village looks relatively unchanged from when you left it. You don't get any surprises as far as new people coming in and out. There is more, a lot of news and rumors traveling up and down the road between Silverbow and the outlying 3 villages that you discovered previously. And it's a little unnerving how pretty much everybody in the village is acting as though those places have existed all along. Getting news back from one of the other village isn't even seen as a big, like a landmark achievement or anything.
Does Abernathy still know that this isn't the way it's always been?
Yes, Abernathy and Trieste both
Okay.
see this as very unsettling indeed.
Have they,
Did Abernathy finish his census? How many citizens do we have?
He has that information. In the village, probably a little over 100 at this point.
Okay.
New
Victor
construction has
asked,
been going up all spring.
does Abernathy know of any, like, Victor's asked if anything interesting has happened in their absence, or how long they've been gone for?
So the good news is that you guys have been gone for an appropriate amount of time. You don't return to the village to find out like 10 years have passed or anything of that nature. All the news he has is good since you're leaving. This family and that family have celebrated births recently. The crops are coming in better than expected. You know, so-and-so and his logging team out in the woods spotted a group of wild horses that they've managed to wrangle together, and they're going to attempt to tame and breed them. Like, it's all good news when you get back to Silverbow. Things are running very smoothly. Nobody's been murdered. There haven't been ghosts sighted anywhere.
That's good.
So when the invading army's coming,
But you're still hungry.
But you're still hungry.
Yeah.
Even Tenny is very happy, very pleased to see all of you.
how is Tenny's training going?
I think it's completed at this point.
I think Brickard said that it'd be done about her first level of noble would be done when she turned about 13 or 14.
So we're going to be doing a time jump in the near future in this campaign, and after that time jump, I would apply Tenny her first level of noble, and her first level of whatever the sidekick version of druid is.
That would be
Adept? Is that what it's called?
it's just adept.
Yeah, she would have a similar stat block to Orson at level 1 at that point.
Yeah.
Evie,
Hmm.
you brought Mordenheim's crossbow back with you. What do you do with it?
That's a great question. I don't know that Evie wants to look. I think she.
Hang it above your bed.
No,
Have Genie cast Identify on it.
I don't know that I want to show this to Jeannie.
I can tell you that Jeannie did not see the crossbow. She wasn't looking in the crossbow's eyes when the murder was committed.
Oh Jesus!
We also have a rock I pulled out of a whale oil skeleton room, Genie, for an Identify.
If you ask Jeannie to do it, she will not turn you down or whatever.
All right,
And I'll give you back your bag of holding.
I guess I'll ask her what the crossbow is.
Yeah, I'll cast Identify on both of the objects.
So the rock that you took out of the whale fat pile, it is an ion stone. When you attune to this stone, it will physically begin orbiting around your head. The purpose of this ion stone is very specific. It has 100 hit points. When you sustain damage, you can choose for the stone to absorb that damage instead. There's no way to replenish hit points, and something bad happens when its last hit point is removed. The nature of your Identify spell does not reveal what that part of the curse is, but the stone will function normally until that point.
Turns you into a giant oil
But if
golem.
you attune to it, you're stuck with it until it burns through all 100 hit points.
Or until you disattune to it. It has 100
Oh.
hit points right now. So when you take 14 points of damage, you decide at that moment whether you want 14 points or you put 14 points in the stone.
It's
think we save that for the
empty
right time.
now.
No, the stone has 100 hit points right now.
Okay, yeah, that's what I meant. It doesn't have any damage in it though. It's not like it had 200 hit points.
You don't know. And neither does
okay.
Genie.
Who wants the Ioun Stone? Because that thing's cool as hell.
We save it for the right time. For a
No,
big fight,
how
no?
can you tune to it to use it?
I feel like
Yeah.
you should have it since you're the one who can bring us back to life.
Okay.
That's
But
a
if you're
reasonable-
attuned
I'm
to
not
it,
arguing about
it,
that.
it orbits your head as you're moving around. You can't...
Ekon wears a goddamn diamond of continual flame half the.
That's... People in town are just accustomed to this. Like, oh, he's his own solar system now. Cool.
The other,
He's got a
sun and the moon.
Oh!
Genie,
So-
Yeah.
casting Identify on the crossbow is a infuriating experience.
Yeah.
It's not a magical mechanism. It's a machine. It was built using scientific principles that you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Examining this thing, it infuriates you because the feeling of how far advanced Mordenheim's skill was in the scientific arts to your own, it just burns with jealousy in part of you. Here's the choice you have to make.
Okay.
You can choose to disassemble the machine to see if you can figure out how it works. If you do that, you cannot reassemble it without making a Dark Powers check.
before Jeannie answers that question, so Victor wants her to also look at these Mordenheim devices that he had. If she disassembles one of the Mordenheim devices, would that give her assistance in understanding what the crossbow is and how it works?
No.
Okay.
The Mordenheim devices are nothing consequential anymore. I mean, you already know how they work.
Yeah. He just wants to know what they do, along with the green liquid.
So, Jeannie, if you
Yeah.
choose to disassemble this device and make a Dark Powers check, you might figure out how it works and how to use it. And you feel that pull, because you can't possibly be less intelligent, less skilled than Victor Mordenheim. Surely not.
Mm-hmm. I think that I don't think Jeannie will do it.
Okay.
I think she'll take a look at it and she'll think about Lamortia and how they did things, and she'll think about Victra and how she did things. and she's going to make a choice. If it's a choice that I'm not like allowed to make, if I have to roll for it, that's fine. But I think she's just going to destroy the crossbow.
Okay.
Hit it with a hammer until it no longer functions.
So you
And
take it down to
then-
your shop, you place
Yeah.
it on your work table, you take a hammer to it, and just before the first swing, you hear it almost feels like a voice in your head. Are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure you're going to let her win?
And then I tell her, and I said, she's not, she said, and then basically, she stops, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and she says out loud, the way I've been doing things isn't working. And she crushes it.
You smash the hammer. Is it just
Yeah.
like one solid blow? Or are you like going into a dwarven rage?
No. This is not one solid blow. This is going to be a fine pulp afterwards.
So, I mean, you pounds, damaging your workshop, the springs and sprockets inside the mechanism crashing against the wall, the wood and metal of it splitting apart until there's nothing left but splinters, bent shreds of metal, coils of broken twine.
Mm-hmm.
And you do not hear
Picturing the
the
end of-
voice again.
I'm picturing the end of Undertale Genocide Run where you just smash Flowey until he's nothing.
Basically, Genie just succeeded at what Edmont could not. She did not give in to the temptation of the dark power. I guess she did early in the
Bitch.
campaign.
Bench.
Edmont has twice now.
That
Suffice
is,
it to say, it is not possible to rebuild the mechanism, and you will never now understand how it works.
I think for once in her life, Jeannie's okay with that.
Okay?
Because I think Jeannie has come to a decision, and it's probably not going to make a lot of people happy. If we're doing a time skip.
Well, not this session, we're not. Next session
Right,
will probably be the entirety of the time skip.
Right, yeah.
Victor also gives Genie the green vial and says, if you ever want to know what that stuff was.
And she tosses it back to you and says, take it to an alchemist.
For the first time, it seems in months and months and months, there's nothing immediately pressing for your attention in your village. Things seem to be running smoothly. No
Yes,
reports of monsters or evil things creeping up out of the woodwork. Victor does what?
Victor's going to try and organize a survey of the kingdom. Like a larger survey of the kingdom to map out, where the various parts of the lands are that are still there, how the villages are doing, population of the other villages.
Okay. Yeah, that's a long-term project, but it's easy enough work. There are travelers
he's
going
gonna-
back and forth along the roads.
Yeah, he's going to get some of the villagers to help do that and stuff.
From time to time, over the coming weeks, I don't remember the guy's name, but the slave boy that you foisted off on Darkwood.
I thought it was a middle-aged man.
You're right, it was. You took him
He
out of
was just- he
Jackwheel's
was a
gibbet and
drunk.
gave him to Darkwood.
Yeah.
He arrives in town now and again to procure supplies that Darkwood requires.
He's just jacked now.
He's not. He hates his life. He
I feel
hates
like
everything about it.
Does he miss the giblet? The whatever it's called?
The gibbet.
The gibbet.
Gibbet? Does he miss the
Gibbet,
gibbet?
not
Probably not.
giblet.
Miss the warm embrace of the gibbet?
Nobody's ever said that sentence before. Warm embrace of the gibbet.
Yes, they have. I just said it.
Is anything else need to be taken care of in the village before we call the session?
No, I can't really think of much.
I mean, Jeannie is she's just making preparations.
I mean, I've got some stuff that it might be worth telling you that I'm interested in doing long term. Just so you know.
we can discuss that now.
Okay. We were looking for a desert to make glass to make a greenhouse so my retainer could grow spell components.
That seems like a long-term project you could be doing over the course of the next year or so. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd have to give it some thought.
I mean, Victor is going to spend most of that time between training some proficiency and trying to get the location of various knowledge archives in this realm and other realms.
Okay.
He's also going to apologize to Darkwood for almost killing him at some point.
Further study of the book using comprehend languages or the like reveals similar creatures with similar names in 100 different languages in service of 100 different gods. The overall story comes together as this was at one point a very important facet of study for Mordenheim. She was collecting demons and angels of all different gods and religions. Some that were summoned who already lived in Lamortia, others that she arranged to have summoned herself. And then she had some method of learning their true names and locking them down. And one of these creatures was in service to your very own god. So I went ahead and posted a straw poll link in the chat. I'm going to go dark for a few minutes while I add up some experience. You guys, oftentimes when I design a dungeon like that, I put a giant monster in a room that you're not supposed to visit for no reason, just to see if you'll go in there. And this week you did. So I'm going to go dark for 2 minutes while I add all that up, and I'll be back in just a few.
Who's most creative today?
Ekon had most of the ideas this session, I would say.
Yeah, that's fair. Who furthered the party's goals the most then?
That's a tough one.
What were the goals?
Get out of the dungeon without killing anybody and rescuing people.
That would not be Victor.
Victor was side quest man this time. So I want to give him intangibles for that, being side quest man.
I
For
didn't.
tossing a torch in the oil.
Okay. We can get to that. So party goals.
Who's the one that kept wanting to save people? Was that Edmont?
It was Evie.
It was Evie. Let's give it to Evie.
Yeah.
Evie.
Evie for keeping us on task.
Who wants
and then-
some experience?
Sure.
I'll
Yeah.
take it.
For the zombie clot
Oh my god, that's an awful name.
and the mind witness, and for 7 highly modified flumphs.
What? No.
742 experience for each of you. 742 from encounters this week.
What about the professor?
It wasn't worth anything. He wasn't a combatant.
Like, literally just committed murder.
Yeah. He said, "Hi, I'm a murderer. I murder you now. Pew pew."
I did murder him.
And everybody gets upset when Victor implies that she's a murderer.
Well, she wasn't.
She is now.
No, you didn't imply she was a murderer. You implied she was an executioner.
No, I said murderer. Murderer is the word I used.
Right.
No,
Victor,
Oh, we're talking about
Victor
in the
implies
past.
she likes to execute people.
Mm-hmm.
Execution and murder are slightly different. And Evie is very good at both. Like, you can do two things. Okay, let's get my blip sheet up here. Who wants to go first?
I
I can go.
Eugenie?
Yes. When in doubt, count it neutral for just her reaction to the breaking the crossbow. It was handed to me like this is. She came to the conclusion like the way she's been doing things isn't working, right? And that was just and so she just broke it. It wasn't a It was a very snap decision. This isn't working. Smash.
Do you want to know what the crossbow was?
Sure.
Yeah.
It was basically wasn't a magic item because it was made with science,
Right.
but it didn't require ammunition. It was basically capable of mimicking any cantrip with a damage type as its payload, like things like Firebolt, Acid Splash, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Dealing damage as though cast with your highest spellcaster level. So that would have been a really good weapon for Jeannie to carry around.
Why? She can already do that, and she can do it better.
Oh.
Oh,
Like seriously, like my arcane firearm adds an extra D8 to every cantrip I cast.
Okay. It would have been a really great item to hand off to Evie, maybe.
It would have been, yes.
no,
Well, Evie's
Evie
highest
can't do sneak
spellcasting
attack.
level is... Well, no, she took more than one level of Noble.
Yeah.
Her highest spellcasting level is 3, but she, instead of casting a cantrip, she would always be better off sneak attacking.
But
I thought it
yeah.
was a cool-sounding item, and then
It's-
you
it
went and
is cool.
smashed it.
It is cool, but I don't think there's any possibility Evie or Genie would have ever used that weapon ever again.
But well, to be fair, is it casting a spell or is it a physical payload? Because if it's a physical payload that mimics a cantrip, would it get sneak attack?
Guess we'll
Yes,
never know now.
Because
The
it's
answer-
specifically not magical.
So yeah, that would have been an amazing item that I broke.
Victor Mordenheim detested magic.
Yep.
Evie
That was
never
clear.
would have used that weapon on principle.
Yeah.
So if you use that to Acid Splash and apply Sneak Attack, does the Sneak Attack also apply to anybody standing within 5 feet who gets splashed?
that's your call, my dude.
That's your call, boss.
And now I never have to make that decision because you smashed it. Good job.
Well, no, because Smash Splash is a saving throw.
Oh, that's
It's
true.
like Ekon, you know Mind, right?
Anything else, Jeannie?
Practical solutions to impractical problems for vortex warping the man out of the rubble pile.
That was
Like
good.
he was being crushed to death. And
The video?
the video, but also don't worry about it. It was just a setback for. No, she's worried about it. I'm sorry.
More than a setback this week.
So that's just those three.
All right, I heard Victor next, I think.
Yeah. So, alignment, chaotic neutral, whatever it takes. That would be killing the mad scientist to prevent his escape and firebombing the human oil golem because fuck it, I'm done. Just nope.
Was not expecting you guys to just murder Jeswin in cold blood.
He's
Should I-
trying to escape.
Should I have been? Oh yeah, no, he was gonna sneak out run out that door and leave you guys to deal with the brain monsters that showed up, and then
No, he
probably
wanted
try
to
to
see-
claim credit after the fact of
He wanted to see his experiment, so
anything else.
Ideal seek the truth no matter the cost. That would be really wanting to open that last door and knowing it was a bad idea.
I mean, you got an ion stone out of that door.
That's true.
Also, the whole let's continue to explore the dungeon while Jeannie is over here having an emotional
That's my flaw.
breakdown.
Values knowledge over people, caring more about exploring the cavern than getting Genie to safety.
Very well. Who's next?
I can go.
All right, Ekon.
Lawful good, the shining words of air lay down a path for us all for searching for the name of the Aetherian angel in the ruins of the university.
Okay.
Got my ideal, give me a reason for his rationalization of the hows and whys around Von Richten creating that earthquake. And I've got my flaw, I'm sure there has to be something good just over the next hill for his thought that he should just let the professor continue this brain experiment. That's obviously the best way to get things back under control.
I mean, when you think about it, if you could harness the potential to psychically summon a plate of French fries whenever you want, you've solved world hunger.
And then initiative. Not if the French fries, not if it requires a higher caloric intake than you get from the French fries, like the biotics in Mass Effect.
So, like, how many calories does the brain consume summoning a plate of fries?
Like a biotics in Mass Effect, they have like 50,000 calorie diets.
Oh,
Like,
that's
they
right.
They just chug protein shakes.
Do they really? That's crazy.
Yes, that's in game lore. It's in the wiki.
You have like a whole conversation about the guy with it in Mass Effect 1, don't you?
Oh,
The
I
heavy guy.
let Caden die.
Everybody does. Screw Caden. Who's next?
No.
I killed Ashley. I hate her.
Yeah, Ashley too. Yeah.
Ash sucks. Ash.
It's a great way to get rid of Ashley.
Who's next?
The racist
I'll go.
lady.
Evie.
Alignment chaotic good. I will do my duty, but I must be true to myself. For her beginning to question, or basically not question, at this point she's basically positioned herself as opposing Aslan Rex for what he has done to her family.
Okay.
Ideal, I must become a leader others can believe in for her double sneak attack with Victor.
It didn't do anything.
And flaw no one understands for her I'm a murderer moment.
Listen, I'm not being charitable to Saul, and I apologize. Saul, I'm sorry, but you murdered me.
Yeah, I did.
And
That
just
is an accurate statement.
That just leaves Edmont.
I have my alignment, lawful evil, blood runs thicker than water, and my own blood thicker still. For going back into the city to protect Ekon and I guess Victor too. Sure.
And Victor was there.
Okay.
And Victor was there. I have this world is filled with predators and prey, and I sure as hell am not the prey for not really giving a shit about any of the other people who are here. As far as Edmont's concerned, they're all complicit in the horror and the atrocities that have taken.
By that, do you mean like the students in the university?
Yeah.
Okay. There was the one guy that was willing to dump all of you into the river. That was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably died down there.
Good. I have my ideal life as my canvas. I will make my mark on it for deciding, hey, you know what's that's a really good idea. There's got to be something here in this ancient tomb that no one hasn't opened in centuries, and who knows what could possibly be in here. Something awesome? Turns out, no, not awesome. Very not awesome.
The Ion Stone's pretty awesome.
It could even be a boat.
Could even be a boat. All right. Blips are currently worth 500.
Yep.
Edmont, you have 5. You just earned 3, so you're rolling over 2. Coming in next week with 6.
Well, don't we have to do the
we do
creative?
party blips?
Oh, we do.
party
You're right.
blips?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Who had the most creative solution to a problem this week?
All right, so I'm gonna change what I put forward. I'm gonna put Genie forward because I need one more blip to level. So I'm gonna put Genie forward for like that guy's like, hey, give me your gold, and I just cast Levitate and just push us along, and we ignore him.
I second that.
Okay.
It's really good.
Who did the most to further the party's goals?
Evie for wanting to save people.
Evie did like keep us on task the most, I think.
Yeah.
Evie didn't. Well, no, Evie is the one that eventually popped open the.
She did, but that was just because everybody else was like, "Let's do that." Like
that was furthering Victor and Edmont's goals.
that was
Who
not
was-
her idea.
Who was the badass?
We hadn't gotten to that one yet.
Okay.
I think Genie for resisting the dark powers.
Well,
Yeah, shattering the crossbow is pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
okay.
I'm okay with that.
And one for intangibles.
So I've got Evie written down for. I'm pretty sure whale fat doesn't do this normally.
And I'm gonna put Victor down for throwing a torch in there.
We could give. Why don't we give creative for that? And I'll just take my one blip for badass, and then give the intangible to Evie.
Well, then that would be me too.
Yeah, that's fine.
So okay.
Sorry, you interrupted us in the middle of assigning these, so they weren't done.
So we're
But
giving
what
creative
about
to who?
Edmont?
Well, Edmont, does Edmont want one? I don't care.
I want one.
We all want one.
So who's getting creative?
I don't even know anymore.
I mean, I have it marked down as Jeannie, so she's getting it as far as I'm aware.
All right.
We're awarding
That's fine with me.
intangibles.
Yep. Tangibles.
To who?
Evie is the one that is what it said first. That's what I remember. So I don't know. I'm not making this decision. I'm backing off.
Somebody has to make it.
I'm okay with Evie getting it, unless Victor really wants to fight for it, because it's like.
I'm 9,000 away from leveling, so it's not that big a deal.
And Ekon has our straw poll. All right. Sorry about that, Edmont. You're still only getting 3, though. Coming in next week with 6?
Yeah.
Okay. Ekon, you have 6, and you just earned 5?
I think I earned 6 with the straw poll. No, you're right. 5, yeah.
Yeah, I was double checking. Evie, you had 6 and earned 5. Jeannie, you had 6 and earned 5. Victor, you had 6 and earned 3.
I have gained a level.
Is everybody coming in next week with 6, or are we cashing some in?
I'm cashing all of my blips in to gain my level. Well,
How
all
much
but
is
one,
12?
all but one, because I got one extra.
It's 100,000 experience. I'm still 10,000 away.
I'm
Yep.
still 8,000 away
How am I that far ahead of you guys?
because you keep getting
Don't
more
spend
blips.
blips on dumb things like us.
Well, you know what it is. I have an ability that lets me re-roll without spending blips. That's probably it.
Yeah, I'm coming in with 6.
Yeah, one. Coming in with one.
All right.
Cashing in and leveling.
Is Jeannie the only one cashing in blips? Okay, sounds like it. All right. I hope you all have a fantastic Thanksgiving next week. I'll see you all next Sunday, where the torture will resume.
Later, friendo.